Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, it is 10:23 in the morning. For a change, the hotel clock is correct. I have no idea what time I got to sleep last night. I have no idea. I was exhausted when I got here very, very early this morning, but I just could not get to sleep. I got in bed, afraid to take a sleep aid because I didn't want to sleep till noon. But I lay in bed, and I have no idea what time I got to sleep. I may have gotten 5 or 6 hours tops. I was going to get up for breakfast because I hear it's good here, but I hadn't had enough sleep, so I just stayed in bed for another hour or so. But I do want to get out of the hotel before it gets too late. I do want to go into the city. It's going to be very, very cold today. It's going to be a high of like 30 or 31 or something like that today. So it's going to be a little chilly. I've got a couple layers on, looking a little bit like Santa Claus. And I have a big, heavy winter coat. My shoes are not incredibly warm, but my feet really don't get cold when I'm out and about walking around, moving around. But let's get out of the room, and I will see you later. There is the city. You can see the Empire State Building over there. That's from our hotel. Roosevelt Avenue, get on the 7 train. And I just got off the train. Right, so I just got off the train. I'm at Grand Central Station, and I'm gonna go up these stairs here. And up. And up. And up. Oh my goodness. And I'm at 42nd Street, Grand Central. I'm gonna go up those stairs. I'm not quite sure where to go from here, but I see 42nd and Lexington. I know where I am from there, so there's the exit. And somehow there's more stairs. Oh my goodness. It's very pretty. This looks like the inside of the Empire State Building almost. And there is Grand Central Station. I'll be going in there on the way home, or back to the hotel, I should say. And we're going to head up this way, and I think to the left for MoMA. And here's 5th Avenue. That's the New York Public Library. I'll be taking a right here, not a left. It's kind of a rare sight for me, but to see a whole block that has been demolished and brought down. But if you look at the buildings here, it's something you can't really see when the buildings are so tight together, but the rhythm of the architecture here, these steps, I love that. All right, let's keep going. I'm sweating a little bit. I'm wearing too many layers. I am at Rockefeller Center. We'll walk over there just in case if you haven't been. Some of the most amazing chocolate in the world right there. Unbelievable. La Durée. Oh, macaron. Let's walk down to. There's Tiffany over there. Oh, very nice candles. Oh, it looks like the statue down there has been freshly gilt with new gold because it's very, very shiny and very, very yellow. And they're ice skating. How nice. All right. I don't hope I don't have a content issue with the music, but here we are with ice skaters in Rockefeller Center. I do not know how to ice skate. And look how shiny gold that is. I've never seen it so yellow gold. Look at how Saks Fifth Avenue decorated their building. How beautiful. That must be amazing at night. And over here we have St. Patrick's. Very pretty. Alright, we're going that way. And here we are. Very pleased. Very cold. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm in. Alright, so I'm going to find a restroom real quick. And then a coat check. Alrighty, very excited. Coat check, done. Next up is the cafe. Haven't eaten yet, and I'm hungry. Alright, let's go to the cafe, and then we'll walk around the museum. Alright, I've been up here to the bookstore. I've never eaten in the cafe. Oh, it just looks like a Starbucks or something over there, so I just need something in my belly. Oh, is that a... Oh, I think there's a sit-down cafe over there. Let's find out. Okay, probably looking at the roast chicken panini. Possibly grilled cheese. That sounds good. All right, table for one. Family Festival Color Play. This one over here says... Rah! The proto sound of straight lines. Okay, we'll find out what that might mean later on in the museum. This is the menu. It was sitting on the table. I didn't even know. But I am thinking of getting the bolognese. I think I'm going to get the bolognese. My neighbors on the table next door have the eggplant parmesan, and that looks amazing. But I think I'm going to have... Yeah, I think I'm going to have the bolognese there. Having a very nice time. The waitress who's helping me out here is super, super nice, has a great sense of humor. My neighbors at the table over on my left are just charming, and yeah, it's nice. Who knew I already have such a nice experience within minutes of entering the building? Oh, food is on the way. Very excited. The largest serving, but it does look very yummy. It's delicious. It's delicious. It's fantastic. The rigatoni, the cut of the rigatoni is very nice. It's very open and very wide to cup all the sauces you can see here, for example, but really, really good. Al dente, the sauce is delicious, and I'm very, very pleased with this. The last bite. That was superb. That was superb. It's been a long time since I sat down and ate at a restaurant that wasn't Olive Garden. Hi, that was delicious. I'm feeling a little, I wouldn't say dizzy, but I'm feeling a little, it almost feels like I'm buzzed a little bit. It's a good buzz, not a bad buzz. It's just that I didn't get enough sleep, so I'm a little kind of lethargic, but I have some caffeine from the Diet Coke I just had. My belly is full with delicious, delicious food. And I feel like I could just kind of curl up and take a nap, but I'm also surrounded by really dynamic and exciting things. So it's this kind of, I feel like a balloon that's kind of tethered to the ground. Does this make any sense at all? I feel kind of light, but I feel like I'm in the right place. Oh, doesn't that sound nice? I feel light and airy, but also tethered and grounded. This is nice. All right, let's see. Let's see. What do we see? We see something happening. Okay. Oh, there used to be this enormous tapestry along this wall here. Enormous, covering this entire thing, and all sorts of sort of huge, tall, stalactite kind of sculptures over here, I remember. All right, so, well, something's in progress. Let's continue on. All right, I hate snow, but that is very pretty. Oops, sorry. And just over here, there was a bit of poetry here, and it said, "Listen to the poetry beneath your ribs." Something like that. Neat. Collection galleries, 1980s to the present, arranged loosely in a chronological order. Each of the galleries on this floor explores an individual topic from the contemporary moment. A room may be devoted to a single artist or work of art, a particular place or moment in time, a specific medium, or shared creative idea. Okay, that sounds exciting. Does this open up for me? Oh, open sesame. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. It's a car crash with blood all over. Okay. Moving on. Okay. Moving on. Not saying anything. Oh, I remember taking you into this room before. Does anyone remember these sculptures here? It's really almost impossible to capture how fascinating these are in person. I'll see if I can get down low. I can't touch. But they are made of glass. And you can see how it's kind of hovering almost over the ground. Really, really beautiful. And something's telling me I'm going to be disappointed when I walk in here. I vaguely remember what was going on in here. Oh, I remember. It's the Fallout Shelter snack bar. I remember this. Survival ration crackers. Shuffleboard. So this is a Fallout Shelter and snack bar. Still very cool, all right, not disappointed. Although I do wonder how many people have pilfered coins or deposited coins in there. Interesting. Beans, broccoli, corn, ham. All right. Reminded me a lot of the finished basement in my grandmother's house back in the 80s. All right. Continue on. There was a bed or something over here last time I was here, I think. This is kind of wild. This guy sitting on the sofa surrounded by trash. I have to tell you, I really think I recognize that corner. It's in Boston. That, I think, used to be the Blue Diner. Right there. I totally think that's in Boston. If it's a real place, that was in Boston. Interesting. All right. Oh, I remember this too. These are like clouds made of stuffed animals. There's supposed to be some sort of scent as part of the display, but I don't smell anything. Okay. Okay. There's an arrangement of, I think, 17 different types of screens here, from tiny through larger. And the images on camera look more blue than the black and white that I'm seeing. But you'll see there's different landscapes. And I'll read a little bit of the blurb that's next to the piece. But it cycles through these basically 3 images. And let's go do a little reading, shall we? The artist. For this work, the artist recreated German naturalist and explorer Alexander von Humboldt's 1801 journey through the northern Andes. Restrepo's video sculpture shows footage of his own ascent by foot of the legendary Quindio Pass in Colombia, known for its technical difficulty and ecological diversity. By retracing Humboldt's path, the artist confronted the notion of discovery that has historically defined representations of the American landscape. In doing so, he added another layer of the back and forth of interpretations and subjectivities around the representation of place, Restrepo explained. Now, interesting, the idea of discovery. White Europeans are always saying, oh, they discovered somewhere. Like this guy discovered the Andes where there were already people living there for, tens of thousands of years. But white folks like to discover stuff, don't we? But yeah, interesting piece. All right, it says Negro Sunshine. You'll notice the neon is actually painted black on the front so that it glows from behind. And over here, Glen Legion. Let's see. Rose laughed when she was happy, but she had not the wide, abandoned laughter that makes the warm, broad glow of Negro Sunshine. Gertrude Stein wrote in her 1909 novel, 3 Lives. Nearly 100 years later, Leon decided to quote a fragment of Stein's text for this black neon sign. The dark words remain clearly legible against a bright halo of light. In the glow of neon, Stein's words and her casual reliance on problematic racial stereotypes are set in stark relief. Interesting, right? Okay, these are what appear to be concrete, maybe, possibly, but the finish looks like rusted steel. I don't want to touch it because I'm not really allowed to, but it also looks like ceramic. It also looks a little bit like it's made of ceramic, but I see rust. I don't know, what is this made out of? Interesting. I think this is interesting. The larger block balanced on this one visually, it's pretty interesting. The textures and the colors really invite exploration up close. See? But also the size and the volume also attracts from a distance. That's wild. I love the fact that I can walk into a room full of big black blocks and be like, wow. I love this. I love art. I love what it does to my brain. There's a little blurb over there. Let's do a little reading. Yeah, Richard Serra forged weatherproof steel 8 blocks. Oh, I really wish I brought my earbuds with me next time. Okay, Richard Serra's Equal. Since the 1960s, the sculptor Richard Serra has explored the basic properties of his medium through the most straightforward yet extraordinary means. Rather than concern himself with images, Serra studies form, including its mass, weight, and ability to delineate space, and the ways it behaves under the pressures of gravity. That's totally what I'm feeling when I'm in this room. As a result, his sculptures produce in us a heightened awareness of our surroundings. Equal consists of 8 forged steel units stacked in pairs. Each of these solid forms measures 5 by 5.5 by 6 feet and weighs 40 tons. To differentiate one stack from another, Serra has rotated the position of the shorter and longer sides of the block. Despite the varying orientation of the individual components, each stack measures 11 feet tall. This simple construction, one unit sitting atop another, yields a variety of experiences. Exactly what I'm feeling. The massive sculptures may overwhelm the viewer and, in this sublimity, invite contemplation. Never put your glasses on top of your head. It's not good. That's exactly what I'm feeling here. It's crazy that, 8 blocks of steel in a big giant room. How much did he say? 40,000 pounds? Really makes you think. Really, really, really neat. See how these 2 blocks are evenly sized, and then some of them are slightly larger and some slightly smaller. It's just really weird how this makes your brain move. And again, these textures, they're so intimate, but these shapes are so cold. Just, oh, I love the fact you can look right between them. Ah, I love this. How do they get these arranged so carefully when they weigh so much? Crazy. I'm thinking, like, how is this floor reinforced? How can this floor handle this much weight? Or is that why it's spaced as it is? My brain, my brain. All right, so I've just watched this. It's like stop motion paint. And it's this character. You can see here, look at his face. Whoop. And it's like a curtain coming down for the next act, right? He's just playing with this stuff, which, as I've watched this a couple times, almost, oh, he's going to do it again. And the curtain comes down again. It almost, as I've been watching it, this surrounding area almost looks and feels like flesh, like it's inside some being's mouth or something. Here, he's taking from the walls and he's creating something, and at certain points, he's like, stop looking at me. And the curtain comes down again. And it looks like he's making something out of pottery or clay, but really I think it's more flesh from this environment that he's in right now. So it looks like he's making pottery. But I'm not going to follow through the whole thing again. But in the end, he's making a figure of a giant nose that he then puts on top of his head and wanders around drunkenly. And that's the whole thing. But I just think it's interesting, this stop motion. Oh, is he doing what I think he's doing to that clay? Okay, all right. There's another one of these stop motion paintings. These characters here are throwing things on top of this guy behind the fence, and each time they hurt him, they grow in size. And here he's decided to, I guess, So the two characters behind the fence that look just like the guy who's being hurt grow in size as they hurt him. And then he, at some point, decides to hurt himself and obliterates himself in the bottom of that. Interesting. All right, so we're going to look at this piece together for a moment. I'm going to walk around it a little bit, and then I'm going to do a little reading for you because it's mind-bending. It's just unbelievable. All right, so these are like bolts and sheets of copper and giant sheets of basically film negatives. But, I mean, it's twice as tall as I am. And it's hung up and suspended using bolts and magnets. Notice the almost amber sepia tones washed with this sort of chocolate brown. These like dripping kind of things here. Okay. Seeing this? All right, now we're going to do a little reading. Interesting, that little bit there. Okay. Almost the landscape here. All right, so let's do a little, how wild is that? Let's do a little reading. Lotus K. Lang, Canadian-born, 1985. The title of his piece is called Molt. Toronto, Chicago, Woodbridge, New York, Los Angeles. Tanned and unfixed, continually sensitive film, spherical magnets, cast aluminum kelp knots, and steel. So in this installation, Kang employs industrial-sized sheets of photographic film that she has left unfixed, such that they change in response to light and humidity. Likening these sheets to the human body, the artist refers to them as skins, and to their ongoing transformation as tanning. Some carry traces of prior exposure in other locations, each indicated in the artwork's title. Those. while the remainder have not been previously exposed. The light-sensitive surfaces continually record their environments, serving as a metaphor for the self. We are porous beings, Kang remarks. We are always in a state of becoming. All right, never put your glasses on top of your head. It's bad. We are always in a state of change. That these sheets of film change over time with exposure to light, humidity, and experiences. Even, and as I'm thinking about it, even our collective exhalations as we're inhaling and exhaling, changing the humidity of the room, does that change the film and how they are expressed? Huh? Ooh, let's go down there. Look at that bowl. Let's get down there. Well, it's on the first floor. All right. All right, there's cool things to look at here first. We'll go down there later. Wow, 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 wow. 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 Look at this Rousseau piece. I don't remember seeing this. I've seen this hundreds of times in print and books and posters, but I've never seen it in real life, I don't think. Henri Rousseau. How wonderful is this? Wonderful. Look at the eye. Oh, and then you see the trunk of the elephant here. Interesting. The little monkey in the background. Oh, I love this. Oh, that's so interesting in person. Wow. Wow. Look at this. These colors and the way the paint is moved around here makes me think of that painting I bought for my living room, the little boy in the big giant red chair. That's how bold these colors look to me. Bob Thompson. St. Matthew's description of the end of the world. Oh, okay. Wow, I love that. Look at that. I wonder, can you hear the sounds in the background? Sounds like it sounds like little tinkling of some sounds. It almost sounds like little sticks being hit against something, or honestly, it sounds like some pieces of pottery just freshly removed from the kiln. But I'm looking at this, and this is massive. Just for a sense of proportion, you can see the person standing over here. It's massive. Oh, I see some Jackson Pollock. This piece is by Mark Bradford. Okay. And I know I've shown this to you before. This is a Jackson Pollock, and a fairly small piece from my understanding, but this is called White Light. Let's see if I can get as close. You can't get too close because they have these things, but let's see if we can get a little closer so I can sort of see some of the textures. The impasto. Can you see how thickly placed that paint is? And there's almost that spot right there in the middle is almost bare canvas. And then a few millimeters over, you'll have things that are like a centimeter thick, you know? Crazy. Interesting, or a lot of the color is in the background. And the foreground is mainly white and black. But the color and almost the painterly forms are in the background underneath all this white gloopy gloppy. Interesting. Interesting. All right, let's see. What else is going on here? Well, that's neat. I want to see that. I'm loving this color. It's not showing up on camera. It looks more beige on camera. In person, it's like a dusky tangerine. Marcos Gregorian. What a wonderful last name. Iranian, naturalized American, born in Russia. Okay. Look at the texture here. Oh my goodness. Can you see that? It almost looks like it should be jumping off the canvas, but it's fairly, almost perfectly two-dimensional. But wow, that's wild. That's great. Neat. I remember seeing this, and this is where the snap, crackle, and pop sounds are coming from. It's ants moving like pieces of flour, and I think there was a sequin or something. Do you hear this? The tinkling noises? Interesting. When you open up a kiln with freshly fired, that larger ant looked like it was eating a smaller one. Is that a sequin I think they're dragging? Or it looks like something made out of, what's that shell? Capiz shell. Interesting. When you open up a kiln of freshly fired work, especially for a glaze firing, you can kind of hear the glaze kind of moving and shrinking on the pottery, and it makes that little tinkling noise you can hear right now. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Just leaving that gallery, and remember the car wreck painting? These guys that are behind me, they walked into the room as I'm leaving, and they just stopped and went, huh. Ask my friend Marcus. I'm always going, huh. Where did I see those artworks? That was downstairs. But, all right, I'll find it. Let's go over here. Ta-da. Yeah, this was an enormous piece with a tapestry that went way, way up there. It was really, really interesting. I have to go back and see if I can find that video where I was here last. Oh, I was already in here. All right. That's the Rousseau piece. Language turns every syllable into soil. Language feeds on what we fail to say. Memory never stops growing. Well, I don't know. I beg to differ for some people. Stop growing. Installation in progress. Okay, we'll go over here. Menschel galleries. Restrooms, yay. When I don't sleep, I dream. Okay. I wish I could get you to see this up close as I am right now. It's entitled The Spanish Civil War, done in 1937. Let's see. I'm drawing a painting of big proportions, an anti-fascist subject. Not very beautiful, but very true and very real. That's exactly how I feel the streets of our country are becoming right now, but I digress. Interesting here. There's these figures who are trying to protect themselves, but also these aggressions, and then this figure pulling this figure away from someone who's fallen, and then is that a child? And just really, really something else. And these colors up here almost resemble like faded, dried blood almost. And this figure looking right out at you. Right there. And the agony in this form here. You know? Huh. This is interesting. This looks like every relationship in my family. Interesting. The model's rest. Okay. Oh, I love this. I love that. But as I turned over here, my breath caught right inside my chest. There is nothing I don't love about this piece. Look at the shapes in the background underneath the underpainting. This underpainting, but then there's these forms, these geometric shapes underneath the underpainting, and then you have this figure on top with this almost distressed mouth. There is nothing I don't love about this untitled gouache on paper. That's amazing. Amazing. I'm going to come back to a little bit of reading in just a moment, but I have to bring you over here. I can feel my heart pounding in my chest. I can feel my heart pounding in my chest right now. I wish you could capture this. Seeing you have to come here. I wish you could see this in person. But I mean, really. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. The colors are almost like sea glass, and you've got these horses, but this woman's figure, and I just the way that the hand is kind of, holding itself up, but the fingers bent. I just think that's so neat. And look at this. Look. Are you hypnotized? Look at these little tendrils off to the side. And these omnipresent breasts. These little curlicues. This is called Satan. Ooh, okay. All right, Satan. Not today. But let's go back over and do a little reading together, shall we? All right. Lam arrived in Cuba, and I believe the artist is black, arrived in Cuba in 1941. After 18 years abroad, it was a moment he remembered of great anguish and perhaps great joy. I know that feeling. Though relieved to have escaped the war, Lam was also forced to confront the enduring impact of what he later called all the colonial drama of his youth. Finally able to paint again, he worked tirelessly, producing 150 gouaches on paper in 1942. Amazing amount of work. These works elaborate on the delicate line drawings he made in Marseille. His paintings grew in complexity and scale. Lam began incorporating images of tobacco leaves, that's what I saw, and sugarcane stalks, plants tied to Cuba's plantation history. Near the end of 1941, he started La Jungla, a painting that imagines a world where African art is in dialogue with the Caribbean landscape. Wow. Brain is sizzling. Guys, all right. Amazing. Wish you were here with me, honestly. As you come upon this piece, it almost looks like you're walking through a jungle and you come upon a clearing and you find this idol, this goddess carved out of something. It's just fascinating. It's all gouache on paper. The edges are all in this copper almost. These wings. It's wild. I really wish you were here with me. This one is called The Chemical Nuptials. And it is wild. There's these egg forms here. Wings. There's like a fishtail right over here. And these little demons up here. You can see him. There's actually a painting by, I think it's Michelangelo, when he was 14, 15 years old. I think it's in the San Antonio Museum that I saw. It's one of his few paintings. I mean, he was like 15 when he did it, but there was a portrait of a saint or something, and there were demons crawling all over him, and one of them kind of had this form here with the two little fangs. Really wild. That's crazy. There's another gallery of gouaches, but it is also blending into some of his pieces of oil on canvas. There's another little blurb over here. More reading. Sorry, guys, more reading. Lam's practice shifted dramatically following his first trip back to Europe in 1946. Seeing Paris in the aftermath of World War II greatly affected him. He also grew disillusioned by Europe's colonial relationship to Africa and the Caribbean. When Lam returned to Cuba, he brought with him African and oceanic sculptures and redoubled his efforts to hone a practice that could reconnect the poetic and formal elements of diasporic cultures. He abandoned the brilliantly colored, exuberant vegetation of the 1940s for statuesque figures rendered in rich, dark palette. I flipped a switch and my painting became dramatic again. I wanted to sacrifice all such charming aspects of painting to be more direct, more clear-cut in my proclamation. And you can feel that when you look at these pieces. This almost looks like a dissection up here. I'm going to go to a look here. Look at this, the figure here almost birthing an egg down here, and these two, I don't know what's going on down there, but wow, hold on one sec. Wow. Wow. Reading, sorry. This is turning into a documentary of this artist. Beginning in 1954, Lam frequented the seaside town of Abbasola Marina in northern Italy, which became an important site of experimentation for the rest of his life. There in 1958, he began a series known as Browse or bush paintings. These show Lam's development of a theme across multiple compositions. Sugarcane stalks interlace in dense network, while energetic bird-like forms, rhombi and thorns weave in and out of the foreground. These nearly abstract works mark Lam's renewed engagement with the dense undergrowth of the Cuban landscape, known as the Manigua. I don't know what that word is. This sacred and historically important space that harbored escaped slaves, independence fighters, and at the moment, Lam was making these paintings revolutionaries. All right, so keep all that in mind when you look at these things. I mean, first, just a quick scan of the gallery. But we're going to go back over here to this, which is massive. As you can see by the size of the person walking past me. Isn't that amazing? This is just called Untitled. Okay. But look at, let me get as close as I can here. Look at the textures, patterns, colors, but there's very little impasto. It's very, very close to the canvas. And you can kind of, having been through this whole journey with me, you can kind of see some of these forms, the eyeballs that were in a lot of his older pieces. You can see them kind of being revisited with these thorn shapes and things. And then we've got this one over here. That's pretty wild, but look at this. Guys, I am losing my mind. I'm losing my shit, guys. I'm almost seeing like elements of Dali, Salvador Dali, with the way that these lines are formed and these like protuberances are coming out over here. I love the little toenails up there. And it looks like a chess piece balancing on the edge there. That bovine foot. Isn't that wild? And is this the artist? This is the artist. Wifredo Lam. There we are. Wifredo Lam in 1962. How exciting. This is one of the first times I think I've been tempted to buy one of these books of the exhibition. Wow, yeah, we just saw that. We just saw that. And there's something about seeing these pieces. We just saw that. Did we just see this? Yes. Is this? Yes, we did. We just saw this. This is called the Chemical Nuptials. To see this on on a page has gravity. Let me get light on there. Has definite gravity, but having seen this in person now, I'm tempted to buy this. We'll see how much it costs. You do ceramic pieces too? Guys, I think I'm going to stop breathing. Oh my God. Guys, I think I'm going to stop breathing right about now. I'm going to stop breathing right now because he did some ceramics. Look at this. Look. Oh, wait. Look. Look at that. Oh my gosh, guys. It's like his paintings literally three-dimensional, clearly dimensionally leaping up through these ceramic pieces. Look at this freaking thing. This says, like, please do not touch. Like, I don't want to touch it. I want to make love to this pot. Look, I wonder if he threw this or if he just decorated it. I wonder if he threw these pots because they're skillfully thrown. This is someone who really knows how to collar a piece of clay, because that's not easy, honestly. It takes a lot of practice to get that form at the top there. But I wonder if he threw the pot and decorated it, or if he just decorated it. I don't like that so much, but I mean, I have to find out. Look at this. Jesus Christ almighty. Jesus Christ. I'm like, here. Look at this. And when I say Jesus Christ, it's just like my me saying, wow. This is made in 1975. And again, I have to wonder if he threw this plate, because that's a really big plate. I wonder how it was. Yeah, he had a good foot in there too. I wonder if he threw the piece. Turns out he did throw these pieces. In 1975, he started doing pottery and ceramic works. He made 300 pieces, and he must have made countless pieces before that to get to these final forms. But yes, he did. He did indeed make these ceramic pieces in addition to decorating them. Apparently, he had a stroke at some point, and I'm not sure if that is why some of the forms are so wildly different, but you can see definitely there's a difference in terms of the negative space around each of these things. You've got these really interesting sort of skeletal forms running through here. And again, this face here that almost like makes me think of Dali. But you still have that little demon guy. Remember that little demon guy from the other painting earlier? Sort of this like form where it's just her ribs and her torso and a mouth, but no top of her head. That's just really, really interesting stuff. And I love the way he did feet. And there's that little demon guy up there again. I wonder if that's just something that goes in each of his paintings. I love the palette here. This is called Warm Horizons. This also makes me think of the top of the Golden Gate Bridge. These pointy forms up on top. And the feet. Wow. Oh, that's him. That's the artist right there.
He really reinvents his practice in Cuba and creates a whole new imaginary visual symbols that is a way forward for him from his influence and interest in various Afro-Caribbean religions. I think these characters come from this idea of transformation and empowerment.
All right, thank you again for your help. The docent here was just very, very kind and generous with his time. Let me see if I can find that painting again. So having watched that video of him and his work and his evolution, his origins, he was born in like 1904, which makes me think one of my other favorite people in the world is Eva Zeisel, also born in like the same time, 1906, I think. Russell Wright was born in 1904, I think. But the painting, it's called The Jungle, which I think is over here. So he's working at a time, he's back in Cuba. And there it is. He's back in Cuba. Before he even got back to Cuba, he was in Marseille. No, he was in Paris. He was in Paris. And he was introduced to Picasso, who introduced him to everybody else. And then when World War II was breaking out, Picasso helped him save his works and then kept them safe during a very difficult time. Then he moved to Marseille and hooked up with a whole bunch of other artists and stuff. And then because Marseille wasn't safe, he wanted to go to America, but America wouldn't take him. So he ended up in Cuba again, which is where he's from originally. 20 years later, Cuba is incredibly poor, and he has no access to materials, canvas, things like that. So he starts painting on using oil paint, but diluted and thinned out so much so he can save paint to make more paintings. And he doesn't have access to canvas, so he's using craft paper, like the brown craft paper. And that is what this is. This is The Jungle, which is like his transformative piece for him. And there it is. And I was just watching this video just a moment ago, and in just little spots, like right down here, right here, where you can see the little dribbles, that you can see the speed in which he was painting and how thin the paint was. And this is oil paint that he has thinned out. And he's painting with such vigorous strokes that it's actually running down the edge. And this, again, is on paper, not canvas. And I'm just like, that video just totally blew my mind. Really, really. Look at this one spot right here. Look at that. Just look. Animal, human. Is it one? Is it two? Is it three faces? Shit. I'm having a hard time breathing. It's so good. It's so good. You leave the exhibit, when you walk out of that dark space full of those amazing, intense ideas, you come out into this hallway, which is like a palate cleanser. It's so good. After all of those feelings, all those colors and lines and stories and histories, to come out into this peaceful, white, so good. And just look at that skyscraper up there. Isn't that wild? I would never want to live up there. Oh my God. But what a nice space here, this little bit of a refresher after such intensity. Up to level 4. I am not going to be going to my favorite little Italian restaurant in New York. It's really a hole in the wall, and I don't even know the name of the place. I vaguely remember where it is. Every time I want to go, I end up having to walk around Soho for like an hour looking for the place. One day I'll just take a picture of the front. But it is 10 past 2, and I know that I'm going to be here for at least another couple hours, and my shuttle tomorrow is at 4:25 a.m., so it's going to take me a little while to get back to the hotel. So I'm going to spend most of my day here. We've been here before, haven't we? Yes, we've been here before. And if you remember, oh wait, no, that's not. I want to go over here. If you remember seeing the Campbell soup cans from Andy Warhol, you remember the stories I've told you about when I worked at Neiman Marcus 1,000 years ago, that some of my clients, the Sonnabends, had an extensive collection of Warhol's work. Roger Sonnabend, I think that was his name, his wife, who I forgot her first name, was actually a model for Andy Warhol and did a lot of promoting for his work. And yeah, so she had a huge collection of Andy Warhol pieces, so I'm looking forward to seeing those again. But I'm looking at this window, and just the city of New York, just that should be a screenshot right there. That might be my screenshot. I don't know. Boy, I love that image right there. And looking down at the snow and those little figures and just the little footprints in the snow with these seats, these chairs, empty chairs with no footsteps around them, just waiting for the snow to go away so someone can find a spot and find some peace and relaxation. All right, let's continue on. I love this piece. This is by Pierre Soulages, French, 1919 to 2022. I love the layering here of the black paint. This is black paint. It doesn't look it on camera. These layers of black on top of black. It makes me think of something I'd like to do with slip on some pottery pieces in the future. And looking at this piece right here, you can see it's burlap or something very rough here that's been cut open and single pieces teased out to create this mesh with paint and I don't know what is on top of it, but I'm wondering if I could do something similar like this in clay. If I throw a pot or a larger pot and then kind of just place cloth and cover that with slip and then fire that. I wonder if I could do something similar like that in clay. That'd be interesting. I love this little hole over here. It's like a little rat hole. And we've got, oh, look at this. I love this. Let me see if I can get this portrait. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Can you see the impasto there, the texture? And I love this one line right there. Right there. As I pull away, notice what happens. Just what that one little red line does to your eye as I pull back. It gives form, it gives movement, and just that one line, one little thin line. I love that. Of course, Jackson Pollock right there. We've been here before. up close and personal. Another piece I love. Now this looks like paint, doesn't it? Doesn't it look like paint? It's embroidery. Stitchery. With paint. This whiteness is paint, but all the color, all the splotches are needle and thread. Wild. All right, I don't pretend to understand this piece. It is enormous. It is gigantic. But as I stand here and as I sort of stare at the center, it's not going to be the case for you on camera, but as I stand here and just sort of look in the center and without moving my eyes, with a little bit of time, the colors do there are more colors than are present because there's just one color there. More colors than you actually see on camera are actually almost making themselves known. I feel like a spiritual, like a medium sensing a spirit in the room. It's not there, but it is. This sounds very crazy, but as I stand here staring like right in the middle here, these lines on the side tend to move a little bit, and there are colors that really aren't there at all that seem to kind of, again, make themselves known. Interesting, in particular that line on the very end seems to get kind of wiggly when I look. It's actually much more interesting as I look at it. I'm sure on camera it's not doing anything, so I apologize, but let's move on. And this gallery, this is also an enormous piece. This is This is eye level for me right here. Oh, interesting. Little teeny tiny specks of orange. I wonder if those are mistakes because of his brush strokes. But these pieces in this gallery are by Mark Rothko. I probably don't have to tell you that. Look at this piece. Oh, wow. This does a similar thing as that big giant red painting as you look. But I think very subtly, the outer edges of this aubergine are deeper, creating a very subtle sense of depth here. And doesn't that glow? Makes me think of some sort of television screen or something just before it blinks off. That's wonderful. Oh, this is not fair. Samsung, you are doing me wrong today, because on camera this looks like ultramarine, bright blue. And in reality, it's this deep, midnighty kind of, I don't know, very intimate, sensual blue. And on camera, it just looks blown out blue. It's by Eve Klein, called Blue Monochrome, dry pigment in polyvinyl acetate on cotton over plywood. The texture, I don't know if you can see it, is completely matte. It is, it almost gives nothing back except for this blue, which is too bright in camera, but it's really, really neat. See a neon Picasso sign right there. Yeah. And this is neon red, but here on camera I think it's pink. That's all right. And here are the Campbell Soup cans by Andy Warhol. The tomato soup being the most popular, as you know. And I think there's 32 of them. We're going to do a little reading. We're going to go back to reading with Stephen. Warhol first exhibited these 32 canvases in 1962, displayed together on shelves like products in a grocery aisle. I used to drink it, he said of Campbell's soup. I used to have the same lunch every day for 20 years. Pause. I could do the same thing with tomato soup and pasta. I could eat it every day for 20 years nonstop. But I guess the same thing over and over again. Though the paintings resemble the mass-produced printed advertisements that inspired Warhol, they are hand-painted, and the fleur-de-lis pattern ringing each can's bottom edge is hand-stamped, mimicking the repetition and uniformity of advertising by carefully reproducing the same image across each individual canvas. He varied only the label on the front of each can. And here is the printed fleur-de-lis, as you can see right there. Wild. Where's the tomato soup? Where's the tomato soup? There's tomato rice. Pepper pot? I never heard of that. Onion, cream of asparagus? I would love that. Oh, there's that tomato right at the front. There we go. This I've seen before. I think I saw this last time we were here together. I want to say it was more inflated, but it's a fan, if you recognize. There's the electrical plug, but it's a fan made out of like vinyl that's kind of just like collapsed. Interesting. It's probably the most interesting thing in this gallery, so let's continue on. Before we leave, this is actually quite interesting. On camera, it's a little bit more obvious. But here we've got this yellow fluorescent tube. Behind it, we have a pink fluorescent tube, and the pink being reflected on the wall with the yellow kind of framing it. You can kind of see the yellow here more obviously on camera, but in person, it's a very gradual wash between pink and yellow here off to this white, which almost looks blue-green compared to the pink and the yellow, which is what the mind does strange things when you put colors next to each other. But this is doing something real wild to your brain as you look at this in person. I'm not sure what it's doing on camera, but it's really wild. And look at that. If you ever have an opportunity, take a class in color theory. It's mind-bending, a lot of fun, very interesting, and it's harder than you think. And I remember showing this to you last time I was here. Do you see how as I move, is the image changing? Is it look like it's vibrating and moving? If that's happening on camera, you can imagine what it's doing in person. Oh my God, my eyes hurt. That is wild. That is craziness. All right. There's more of the same sort of optical illusion over there, but look at this one. Look at this one. Look what it does on camera. Oh, you almost want to fall into that crevice there, don't you? Wow. I remember showing this to you too. This, is this a condor or something? I forget, but the artist pulled this out of a dumpster behind Carnegie Hall or something weird. Really wild. I'm back at that Picasso signature. I'm wondering if it's in this gallery because of the context of commercialism. This is a Pepsi cola and coffee commercial from Japan back in the 40s, back in the 50s, I think. And then there's packaging, and you've got the tomato soup cans over there. I wonder if it has something to do with how Picasso almost used his drawings on napkins as currency to pay for things, and his signature was so common, used again almost like currency, I wonder if that's why his signature is in neon, and in this room with these items made art. I don't know where that's going. Do you hear that noise? It's the thud of people's heels as they walk. Plump, 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 plump. My least favorite noise in the entire universe. Let's climb some more stairs. Oh, remind me to tell you about him.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry, honey. Remind me. Oh, that guy. He's not classically traditionally handsome, neither am I. But oh my God, he's been through the museum, and I keep looking at him. I keep seeing him wherever I go. There he is. He's got kind of a face like John Lithgow. I mean, really not that handsome, but there's something about him. And he's wearing a t-shirt with these two black cats on the front, and he's got that little cardigan with a cat pattern on top of it, and layered over each other. Oh my God, I'm breathless after those stairs. Yeah, and he knows how to walk in public. Some people don't know how to walk in public. All right, I've taken a break, letting him move on so I can stop looking at him, because he's oddly fascinating to me, and continue to look at the artwork and not him. Because what am I going to do? Walk up and say, "Hi, I think you're interesting looking." No, that's not something I would do. All right, let's get up. All right, 5th level. Galleries, 1880s to 1940s. Where do we go first? Well, he went over there, so let's go over here. Ah, I see famous pieces of artwork. Look at this. Look at that. Now you gotta look at it and then look all the way into the distance to these little teeny little figures. Isn't that wild? Alright, this is a very busy gallery. I got some. Speaking of Picasso, we've seen this together before. We've been here before together. There's Frida over there. I love the mirror. Interesting. Look. How we have a self-portrait of her surrounded by mirror, and then a mirror next to it, inviting you to share the space with her, maybe? I don't know, but that's wild. All right. Oh, interesting how Samsung loves to change colors. They totally like to change colors, but the background, the wall, is exactly this color. It's like a celery. It's very pretty. We've seen this before. Is that Miro? Of course it is. Why am I questioning? Could it be anybody else? Ah, we've all seen this painting before, haven't we? Magritte, with the eyeball in the clouds. We've all seen that before. That's very famous. This is one of my favorite things. This is one of my favorite things in the museum. This is one of my favorite things in the world. I love this, I love this, I love this. This is a Salvador Dali piece. Right here. It's small. You can see my hand, right? But it is, he's painted on successive layers of glass to have the image physically recede. But this is one of my favorite things in the universe. Look at this little red shoe hanging here from the spoon that's growing out from the side of the tree. This little figure over here with the little rain cloud over the top, and the figure just creeping out from the side here, dangling a handkerchief. Can you see that? Is it in focus? Or did they take something from the figure, because it's the same color? Did they pull something from that figure and get ready to let it go? You know, are they taking something that's creating that rain cloud off of that person or out of them and getting rid of it? Is that person helping that person? I just love this little ink pot. This piece just absolutely kills me. Then you look into the way, way distance with all the mountains in the background. This is like my favorite thing in the world. Oh, it makes me happy. Here in this room, we've got some Gauguin. We've got some Cézanne over there, don't we? Yes. We'll take a little tour. Take a little tour. Here we've got some Gauguin. Paul Gauguin. Wonderful. Also very famous. I really never noticed the color of the palm trees. It's like mustard colored with this sort of hyacinth color here, hydrangea kind of color with this wonderful fabric that's probably a batik or something. More Gauguin here. Wonderful. Love that sky. Cézanne. Wonderful, right? You can almost feel the linen in that napkin right there. Villard. Still life with top hat. Interesting. More Villard. I can't say his name properly, so I'm making fun. Matisse. Wonderful. A little more Cézanne. Look at the eyes. Look at the character in the eyes. Just done with a little zoop, zoop. Wonderful. Look at the character in the eyes there. Wonderful. These are the busiest galleries in the entire... You can see the people back there. These are the busiest galleries in the entire museum right now, as you can sort of see behind me. It's fairly busy. I should probably not be walking around in circles backwards. Especially with these Matisse busts on the table here. Don't yell at me, I know. Oh, I like this little girl spinning. It's kind of fun. It's fun. I love this. Wonderful. This is a painting by Ferdinand Léger. And this is actually a film by Léger in 1924 called Ballet Mécanique. And it's like literally a moving representation of what you see in his paintings. Earlier in this little film, there is a young lady swinging back and forth on a swing from a tree branch, and she's smiling and posing her head, and then there's odd images of, and then her teeth, and then her lips, and then a image of a straw hat, and it's really quite, and there's the straw hat right there, really quite interesting. And then you see his paintings and you kind of understand what was happening in his brain. Oh, interesting. All right, so one of my first times here at MoMA, I came to see Starry Night, you know, famous painting. And in front of Starry Night, I could hardly see it because there was a snow shovel hanging from the ceiling right in front of this incredibly famous piece of artwork. There was the snow shovel, and I have I have not seen the shovel since. And here it is. I was so frustrated by the shovel because I could hardly see the painting because there are so many people around it, and the shovel was in the way. Let's learn more about the shovel. I love this. In advance of the broken arm. Interesting. I bet you. In advance of the broken arm. Does that mean this is like the object before it was used in order to actually find some sort of physical, you know, broken limb? Interesting. This is the beginning of a story of a guy who breaks his arm while shoveling the sidewalk. Maybe it makes more sense. Never put your glasses on top of your head. It's not good. All right, my breath was just pulled out of my body like a string on a marionette. My whole heart just right out of my chest. I'm so excited. So this is a piece by Konstantin Brancusi, and it is called Bird in Space. Now, if you look, it's my favorite sculpture in the world. It's my favorite sculpture in the entire planet. Remember the Salvador Dali thing I showed? This is my favorite. But the version of this I've seen was at the Met. It wasn't here at MoMA that I understand. But, so this form, it's very tarnished. But if you look at it, you got that concrete block at the bottom. It's kind of, you know, a little broad at the middle. At the bottom, it kind of narrows in, tapers in, then opens up again. And at the very, very, very tippity top, there's almost a facet. Do you see that right there? It's like a little facet, a little angle, a little right there. And it is called Bird in Space. Now, one of the tours I've taken at the Met spent a fair amount of time on this piece. And let me see if I can read this blurb and see if it gives you a better description of what it is and what it means and what it symbolizes. And if it doesn't, then I'll just talk to you about what I think it means. Hold on one sec. Here we go. Refining and concentrating the bird form. Brancusi made his first bird in space in 1923 in marble. That's the one I have seen. Later versions were made in bronze and plaster. Brancusi began each work by making a plaster cast from a marble version of the sculpture. The one I've seen is much larger than this one. He would shape the plaster, altering its proportions, then cast the result in bronze. Each bird is therefore unique. I've never made reproductions. Brancusi explained, yes. Each sculpture is a separate work made years apart. Okay. Oh, never put your glasses on your head, it's bad. From what I understand, the tour guide I had spoken to about this piece was talking about how this is not supposed to be a literal representation of a bird in space. You could see that it could be like a bird's body with a beak at the top. It's just missing its wings, right? But, so the idea is not to make a sculpture of a bird in space, but the motion and the movement and the energy and the inertia of this form moving through space and time. So it's not supposed to be the sculpture of a bird, but of an object moving through space and time. And that whole concept of making a sculpture of something that doesn't exist, but making a sculpture of emotion, making a sculpture of inertia, making a three-dimensional physical object based on the idea of movement. Which is something like Picasso and the Cubists would do in trying to create a painting that showed an object from multiple angles at the same time. Right? That's my understanding. But that it's so exciting to see that piece because I have not seen the other version of Bird in Space. I have not seen that piece for years. But let me see if I can get a better picture of that. Hold on. right? And we remember this from my unboxing of those little miniature paintings. That's a real Mondrian right there. Right, so this piece is an image from really my earliest childhood. My mother's best friend Penny. This is back, oh God, 1974, 1975. Penny did a copy. She painted a copy of this in an art class or something, and it was really extraordinarily close to this image as I remember it. But this is a Picasso piece that is literally pulled from my childhood. And Penny and her daughter Amy and the python that used to live in the house freely. She didn't keep it in anything. She just let the python roam. Huge python, and we used to sleep when I was sleep over at Penny's house with her daughter Amy. We would sleep on the floor in sleeping bags, and the house was relatively chilly. And snakes like warmer places, and I never really thought about it, but that snake probably crawled into our sleeping bags at some point. It was enormous. It was a giant snake. One of the a pet that my mother's friend Penny had was a rat named Meal, not Neil, Meal, because apparently the snake was molting and wouldn't eat this one rat. And then when it finished molting, it still wouldn't eat this one rat. So she kept it as a pet and named it Meal. We've been here before. What's upstairs? Upstairs is the Terrace Cafe. We don't need to go up there. I think we might be done or almost done. So this is the first floor, and downstairs is the bookstore, and one of the bookstores, and a gift shop. I'm going to go down there and check out some things in a minute. But I want to see if I can find... Seemed to be an exhibit that I could see from the second level when looking down, but I could not find it when I was down here originally. So I'm going to look for that, and then I'm going to head downstairs to see if any of the fun, shiny things down there that I don't need. Bummer. I think I lost my ticket. It's like a postcard thing. I thought I tucked it into my pocket, but I may have dropped it when I was in the bathroom. Oh, darn. Oh, well. I was going to go back upstairs and look for something and maybe go up to the bookstore upstairs, but I think I lost my ticket. Wah, wah. All right. That could be my higher power saying, Steven, you're done. It is 3:13. I'm going to head downstairs to the gift shop and then probably maybe head back to the hotel because I do have to wake up at like 3:30, if not earlier. So let's go downstairs. Oh, look. It's Barbie, Starry Night. Interesting. Look at her. All right. I don't need anything here, but I will tell you the one thing. If you are in this gift shop, if I can find it, the best travel cutlery set you're ever going to find in your life. If I find it, I'll show it to you. I don't see it right now, but it's the best cutlery set I've ever purchased. I probably have 3 sets. I would ever use salad tongs. Those are the salad tongs I would like. I'd never use them in a million years, but I think those are great. How much are they? 30 and 28. Those are cool. I'm not going to buy it. But see that little beige house there? It's motion activated and it's wind chimes. It's the sound of wind chimes. Isn't that amazing? Oh, it's so pretty. So pretty. I don't see that cutlery set I want. Well, I already have 3 sets. I don't need any more, but I want to show you. Look at this book. Oh, goodness. Look. So beautiful. It's this book right here. I'm not going to buy it, but that is because my cats aren't in there, so the book can't be that great. Loving to more photographic history of men in love from the 1850s to the 1950s. Not married, but willing to be. And I think this picture right here is particularly cool. Nice. Caught my eye. The first homosexuals, the birth of a new identity, 1869 through 1939. I once went to a speaker's engagement. I forget who it was, but he was some sort of historian, and he was making the case that there were no homosexuals before modern times, because in ancient times and time gone by, no one really identified as a homosexual. It was a characterization. It was a, it was a diagnosis, but nobody identified, because it just wasn't possible in ancient history to walk around being a gay guy. It's only today when we are free of so many social constraints, that's the word I wanted to say, is that where like modern people like me can identify as homosexuals, where in ancient times there was no way to identify that way. It was weird. It was very strange talk, and I took it very personally, and I was very deeply offended by it. But now, the older I get, the more I kind of understand the whole idea. But blah blah blah. I want to find the book regarding the artist up there, Lam, but I can't find it. Whatever. I don't need to buy it anyway. And when I give up finding it, there it is. How much is it? I just can't see that. Oh my God. $75. I can't spend $75 on that book. I would love to, but I can't spend $75 on it. No, I can't. I'll just watch my video over again, that's all. Found my people while walking around the gift shop here. I was just looking at this. It's a portable tea steeper, drinking vessel, whatever, and this lady was just saying, oh, just what you need. It's a shame it's empty, because you're walking around the museum all day long and you're thirsty. And then I'm like, well, yeah, then you have to find a place to pee, and we both went like, oh, middle age. I found my people, and I think I found the one thing I would really buy if I could, if I needed it. This lamp. Oh my God, love him. So cute. Little bobblehead for the car. I don't need it. Look how cute. Oh my God, I'm dying. If I could get this to stick in my car, I would buy that. So cute. Kidding, that thing would irritate the pants off of me in the car as I'm driving around in Las Vegas. No, let's leave. Let's get out of here. Came across the street to their other store, and they've actually got more stuff here than they did over there. Look at this. They've got all this fake food, like a cheese candle. How fun. This, like, cheeseburger canister? Or little plates. Cute. Bubby's black and white cookie teether. That's adorable. Alrighty, well, I was successful in not buying anything in either of the gift shops. So that's very, very good for me. I'm going to head back to the hotel because it is 4:02, and I, in 12 hours, have to be on the shuttle to eventually head home. So I'm going to end this video here because you don't want to see me just, walking through New York, heading to the subway. So I will see you in the next video. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me. Fly safe. Bye.